added to our Alumni Association last month. And we are thrilled to be able to host virtual events throughout the summer, including career webinars and conversations with faculty and staff experts. And speaking of staff experts, Chef Corey, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. Chef Corey's been with UCCS for the past 2 years, where he serves as Associate Director of Culinary. Chef Corey came to UCCS after an already illustrious 22-year career within the culinary industry. So let me set the scene for you, Chef. The 4th of July is on the horizon, and our alumni want to know how they can best prepare for their socially distant celebrations. Can you tell us a little bit about how to go about selecting the best and veggies for their feasts?
Yeah, so obviously you first have to know your clientele. Do you have a lot of heavy meat eaters? Do you have a lot of vegan people come in? So that all depends. And where are they coming from logistically?
Right.
Are they coming from the East Coast? Are they coming from the West Coast?
Gotcha.
The South Coast? So you got to take all that into consideration. Or are you just more simple and you just want to do burgers and brats? So if you're looking for more traditional barbecues, then you're going to want to select things like Kansas City barbecue, Texas, Carolina, Memphis, things like that.
Okay.
If you want to go a little more nouveau, you're looking at California cuisine, where it's Santa Maria barbecue, which is not one of the more popular ones, but it's one of the really good ones.
Awesome. So say that our alumni are hosting an event in Colorado. What kind of barbecue do you in Colorado? Making large meat.
Yep. So from what I'm gathering for the last 2 years I've been here, brisket would be a good way to go.
Definitely.
Pulled pork would be a good way to go. Seasonal veggies, putting those on the grill, getting those nice marinated with a little bit of herb oils, a little salt, pepper, just grilling those would be really good ones. Cold salads, obviously taking a lot of the local grains, turning those into salads with a little bit of vinaigrette. You want to stay away from mayo, being outside. You don't want to get people sick. There's enough of that going around with other things. So, so just really focusing on really good meats and preparation.
Awesome. And what kind of fruits and veggies do you find are typically in season around this time of year out here?
You can focus on peppers and zucchinis and tomatoes and get those on the grill. Obviously, it's a little bit early for some of the more chili peppers and things like that, but easily go with those things so they hold up well on a grill. Number one, they hold the flavor that you're trying to infuse into it, and then you just kind of go from there.
Gotcha. Well, I do love peppers, so good news for me. So it goes without saying that many people are busting out their grills this next week for the 4th of July. So can you talk to us a little bit about the pros and cons of maybe having a gas grill versus a charcoal grill?
So if you're a novice, go with gas.
No offense to the gas grillers out there.
No offense. Or you can do a combo. You can do a combo to get that flavor. But charcoal can be tricky. If you're new to it, you got to find the finer tune of temperature and how many coals you need, and so it's a good combination to either stress over if you're doing a large party, or something to play with if you're doing something intimate.
Gotcha.
So if you're not an expert on it, I'd say play with a little bit of it, but you can do a mixture. You get the grills that have a spot to put some charcoals on there, or wood's always a good way to go too. Get that flavor
Fancier.
in there. So throw a little wood in your gas grill or even charcoal grill, infuse some of those flavors.
So, well, I personally be sticking with my George Foreman because it just plugs into an outlet. Awesome. Well, without further ado, Chef, do you want us to show us what we're making this afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get over to the kitchen area.
Awesome. All right, Chef. So what are we cooking today?
All right, well, first, we're going to go over some myths about knife sharpening. So one of the biggest myths is this utensil sharpens your knives. It does not. It actually just hones them, which is good in between all your sharpening. So if you want to use this, get a towel, put it like this, and as my butcher always taught me, just go like this, and any of the metal scraps that do come off will go onto this towel. So again, myth, that does not sharpen. For home cooks, this is a good one. It's a little handheld. You just take your knife. I'm not going to do this one because this is a different type of knife, but you just put your knife through this and it'll sharpen it just as well. But if you've got really expensive knives, like most of us in the industry do, you want to do a tri-stone. So what I was taught by a sushi master is you go 10 this way and then 1 this way. Now if you're a lefty, you do the opposite. So, all right. So with that being said, we're doing a watermelon gazpacho. Now we're going to add vodka at the end, so make sure you've portioned out enough for the kids. So in order to peel a watermelon, you want to take the top off. See, I've already cut it in half. Use a serrated knife. And so you're peeling down, and then you're spinning it towards you, so you can actually see how much you're going to take off. Always spinning it, so you don't waste product. But this rind actually turns into a very good side component when you pickle it. So,
and Chef, you said a serrated knife is what you're using?
Serrated knife is what I'm using.
And that's pretty much the only kind of knife we should be using with the watermelon,
For
right?
peeling any melons, yes. This is what you'll get a better cut on.
I only ask because I've made the mistake.
A lot of people do. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, you're using a George Foreman grill. So we're going to set these off to the side.
Okay, Chef, we have a question from one of our watchers right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Should you schedule your knife sharpening, or is it all dependent on the usage?
It's all dependent on your usage.
Okay.
So you want to take your blade and you want to go like this with your thumb. And if you feel it sharp that way, you know your blade's good. If it feels like it's a round, you want to go ahead and sharpen it. So it's all by feel.
I have another question for you, Chef.
Shoot.
One of our watchers is asking, do you have any recommendations on how to prep veggies, as opposed to slicing or dicing, or is it particularly like vegetable specific?
Obviously, it depends on the vegetable. If it's zucchini, you want to go lengthwise about that thick, and just keep it that way, so you can grill it, and just like you would like chicken or steak.
Awesome.
So, put the watermelon in there. So I got some rough chopped onions, rough chopped tomatoes.
Now I have to ask, what exactly is gazpacho?
Gazpacho is a cold soup, typically made with tomatoes. So the twist here is because we're using the watermelon.
Awesome.
So jalapenos and red peppers are going in now.
Okay.
It's going to be loud for a few seconds, so bear with me. So like always, you got to smash it down. So you start it like that so you get the initial liquid going.
Now, should they be mashing as they go? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because again, that gets the liquid going, and since you don't have much liquid in here,
Gotcha.
that will help you get this started.
Awesome. Chef, while you're pushing that down, do you want us to tell us a little bit about where your love for food comes from?
From my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mom. So growing up with a Southern family, we actually had a garden out back all the time, even though I was living in Rhode Island. I was born in Tennessee. So we would always go out and pick fresh veggies all the time. So that's pretty much where it comes from. All right. So that's all that takes.
Chef, I got another question for you coming in.
Yep.
Another question specifically about vegetables, but how long should they be grilled for? Probably another specific one based on the vegetable, but...
Yeah, it is specific. So peppers, you want to grill them till they're dark on the outside, like nice charred.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you want to take like zucchinis and go about 2 minutes on each side. Carrots, you want to steam them before.
Mm-hmm.
You want to steam them for probably about 6 minutes, and then from there, you want to grill them for about 3 on each side. Get a nice char on those carrots. All right, so I'm throwing the onions in there, and these are all fine diced. When you're blending them, you don't have to worry about the fine dice, but because it's a nice seasonal soup, you want some depth of flavor, some crunch to it. Okay.
Chef, another question for you. Back to knife sharpening and knife skills. And this one is from Holly. So say hi, Holly.
Hi, Holly. How are you?
Can we sharpen our kitchen shears the same way kitchen knives can be sharpened? Meaning at home, or should this be done professionally?
So there's a sharpener like this that actually has a spot for your shears. So if you go to Bed Bath & Beyond or Solar Table, those type of places, you can find the ones that have it for the shears. Otherwise, you can send it out professionally.
Gotcha.
Or just keep changing them out. They're so cheap. All right. So, trick for avocados. I know I probably did that pretty quickly. So you go around with the knife, turn it that way. With this, you hit the core, take that out, throw that away. And being careful because this is in your hand, you just want to score it ever so gently. Don't go all the way through the skin. Go this way with the dicing.
Awesome.
And then take your spoon. And there's your diced avocado. We'll save that for later.
So easy looking.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a few years.
So chef, if somebody does not have a Vitamix blender, other professional powered blender, any recommendations you have as far as that goes?
Immersion blender, or just keep smashing it.
Just an immersion blender, just keep smashing it down?
Yep, with that, or you can take a potato masher. I mean, as you can see, it's going to be a little chunky anyway.
Yeah.
So you're wanting some depth of flavor and crunch,
Good to
like
know.
I said. So a little bit of red wine vinegar, a little bit of olive oil. So I have some vanilla bean salt. You can use kosher salt, but being watermelon, I figured I'd break this stuff out. Like I said, so at this point, you make sure you portion out for the kids. Because you have the vodka at this point. Just a half a cup.
So chef, I got another question. We have a watcher that is curious about what that big trophy is next to you.
That big trophy actually is, so I was voted Chef of the Year for the Pikes Peak region ACF chefs. So I was also voted in to be the vice president of the chapter, which is a really big honor because they work with local communities, they help local chefs, especially during this pandemic. We're really supportive of each other throughout the community. So that was, it's mine for a year.
And ACF stands for what, chef?
American Culinary Federation. So they have chapters across the United States.
And you're the
They
vice...
give certifications for chefs like CEC, which is Certified Exec Chef. They have culinarians and they help out culinary schools and culinary competitions.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. We have a local celebrity in-house over here.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'll take it.
So as far as serving dishes go, chef, is Gazpacho traditionally served in a martini glass?
So I wanted to class it up just a little bit. So mason jars would be a good one. Bowls would be a good one as well. But it's really just what you have lying around, what type of party you're having. If you're having a rustic, go with mason jars. If you're having a nice higher end party, go with this. So here's where the avocado comes in. Just put that on top. Wipe my hands.
And chef, you used red onions in that, right?
I used red onions.
Okay.
Yep. You could use white if that's more of your flavor profile, but I like the color.
Gotcha.
So dollop of sour cream to garnish. And like I said, with that watermelon rind, I went ahead and pickled that. So it was a quick pickle. It was a combination of sugar and straight apple vinegar. And then you bring that to a boil for about 5 minutes. From there, you add ice to it to shock it, and then it's a nice quick pickle. So
I never knew how to pickle on my own.
you don't want to waste product if you don't have to. So that is the final product. And there you go. Quick
It's beautiful,
gazpacho.
chef. Awesome. Well, do you want to come back over here and we can ask you a couple more questions?
Absolutely.
Maybe we can take these martinis over as well.
Oh, I should have grabbed those.
There you go.
Oh, I think you so.
Of course. So, chef, being that you've been at UCCS for the past 2 years, what would you say is your main goal with what you'd like to be doing here?
Enriching the students' lives. I think that's one of the biggest goals we in dining hospitality need to focus on. Yes, we're a dining hall, we feed students, but we also hire the most amount of students on campus. So giving them the opportunity to grow, opportunity to learn how to cook, because that's something that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
They took away home ec.
Right.
There's a lot less cooking at home because all the hustle and bustle of daily life. So if I know that these students that come to work for me that probably couldn't have, even opened up a dishwasher, can now go and cook for themselves rather than go to McDonald's or, any of the fast food options, then I did my job.
That's
and
awesome.
then from there, we give them manager skills. We have them running the operations. So we give them a lot more enrichment than you would think as just being a job on campus.
It's a really student-centric operation that we have in DHS here, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have a question from one of the watchers. They're wondering, is there any other fruits that you could use aside from the watermelon and tomato for a gazpacho?
Honestly, any melon.
Yeah?
Any melon that you enjoy would work well. Kiwis would be a good one as well, but there's a lot of fabrication that goes in kiwis. So maybe it's just one or two added to it. Strawberries would make a good gazpacho as well. So really anything that you could blend like a smoothie would go good for this one.
Awesome. So prior to food service, you spent 8 years in the military.
Correct.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so back in my junior year of high school, I had this grand idea I wanted to go to culinary school, but how am I going to pay for it?
Right.
Then the recruiter started showing up and fed me with all this fun stuff of what you could do in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought into it, and I'm glad I did. It was a great experience. I didn't cook in the military. I ended up being a carpentry masonry specialist, and then EOD, which is explosive ordnance disposal. They didn't tell me that part when I first signed up. So that was an added bonus in boot camp. But I got to do some really cool humanitarian missions across the world. So we went to Africa and Honduras and built some schoolhouses there.
Awesome.
We did some stuff at the border with helipads and rescue things. So it was a lot more enrichment than I would have thought it would have been. So, and now I can
Very cool.
build an operation and run it.
Now you got the tangible business skills from that you could apply to food.
Exactly.
Very cool. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the biggest event you've ever cooked for?
Biggest event would be actually a family barbecue.
Yeah.
For Northrop Grumman. They shut down their test runway in Baltimore, Maryland, and we did a family barbecue of crab boil, crab cakes for 20,000 people.
How many crabs is that?
It was a lot. I think we did 40,000 crab cakes.
That is
We did probably about 2 tons worth of
unfathomable.
crab. Then side dishes, corn and potato salads, things like that. So we had 4 kitchens on the outsides of where we were serving that they basically did the exact same thing, just to fill the buffets. So it was a lot of prep, like 2 weeks worth of prep. But when it was over, it was like, wow, we just fed 20,000 people.
Yeah.
So I'm not scared of any size party anymore.
Speaking of being fearless about who you're serving, I've heard that there's been 4 presidents that you've served. Do you want to talk about your experiences and about the differences between all of them?
Yeah. So my first endeavor at college and universities was at Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
So the first week I was there, they came to me and said, you're going to feed 39 and 41. I didn't know what that was. So I'm thinking football players being Texas A&M. Yeah, it wasn't. So they said, no, it's presidents. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to pass Secret Service, background check, and so we did a meat and potatoes thing for them when we were in Texas. So in the middle of plate up, Secret Service comes out and they're like, oh, they want you outside to thank you. I'm like, I'm in the middle of plate up right now, so come back later. Yeah, Secret Service didn't want to hear that. They literally pulled me off the line.
Yeah.
Grabbed me by my chef coat and said, no, you're coming with us. The whole time that they're thanking us, and I'm like, I got to get back to the kitchen. My food's getting cold. So, a typical chef worried about their food more than anything. I was presented presidential plates, didn't even remember the whole ceremony. I just got back and looked at my sous chef and I'm like, wow, that just happened.
So 39 to 41, that was who?
Both Bushes.
Both Bushes?
Yep.
Interesting.
So, and then when I was at Tulane, I cooked for Bill Clinton during Clinton Global Initiative. That was 3 days worth of about 4,000 students on campus going through different scenarios and different speakers and things like that. So we fed him for those days. And then before Obama was president during his campaign, he came through Tulane as well. And during the campaign tours, when I fed him a nice rustic salad bar and things like that. So it was definitely an experience that you wouldn't think you would get in universities.
Not at all.
So a lot of my chef friends that are in restaurants don't get to say that.
Speaking of universities, how long have you been in higher ed specifically as far as culinary goes?
Let's see, 2006 is when I started at Texas A&M. So roughly about 12 years. But I did have my own restaurant. I was a regional chef and worked at Microsoft as a regional chef. I was a corporate chef. So there's a lot of things in between. But For the most part, about 12 years.
And do you have like a passion for higher ed, would you say, compared to the others?
I do now because of, like I said, it goes back to that enriching students. I'm a father of 4, so I get to be home with my children as well.
Right.
So I'm not at work till 2 a.m., then come back at 6. So working at the higher ed has actually been beneficial as a father.
Awesome.
And again, like I said, it's been about students.
Yeah.
So.
That's great. Well, one of our alumni is also curious, now that you've been in Colorado for 2 years, what's one of your favorite Colorado foods that you like?
Really, it's just some of the small downtown restaurants. Some of the stuff that, part of the ACF. The best experience right now, honestly, has been helping out with the Springs mission, feeding the homeless down there and the less fortunate. I know that's not me personally going out eating
The Springs
there.
Rescue Mission?
Yeah, Springs Rescue Mission. So I've done a couple dinners down there with them. Been highly involved with that through the ACF and other organizations. But yeah, just getting out and seeing some of these, small restaurants, small mom and pops, stay away from the chain restaurants, and just give them a shot. If you read reviews and you might not like the reviews, but just give it a shot. They're struggling to keep afloat, especially during the COVID crisis.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, do you have any thoughts about how important food is during this time? Bringing people together, sustaining populations still?
I think everybody kind of found out how important the food service industry is.
Definitely.
Because a lot of people don't cook. So it goes back to that, we need to get people to cook at home now. There's a lot of, Food Network type stuff that you could learn, but again, if you haven't been hands-on taught, it's pretty difficult. So not everybody gets that same experience that, I had with my mom and, being right next to her on a stool and cooking and, learning how to make lemon meringue pies from scratch when I'm 5. So nobody really gets that anymore. But yeah, this food service industry has shown how important it really is. Same thing with the farmers and the ranchers and things like that. So please get out there and support, your local restaurants.
Emphasis on local, not McDonald's.
Yes, yes.
All right, well, thanks, Corey, for your time this afternoon. It's been really awesome seeing you make some fresh watermelon gazpacho for our barbecues next week and learning a little bit more about you and your work here at UCCS. Anything else you'd like to say to all of our followers and alumni?
Appreciate the time. I'm glad you could join us. Hopefully we'll do some more of these with, some more cooking demos, and hopefully you can follow along.
Yeah, thank you all again so much for tuning in for the live Q&A with Chef Corey. Again, thank you to the Alumni Association as well for putting on this event and making this possible, and we look forward to putting on more events for you all throughout the summer. Thank you. Bye-bye.